Hello, in this video I'd like to talk about the SEGA Dreamcast fishing rod controller. Wasn't really worth all that effort, was it? That game was Sega Bass Fishing, the only fishing game I own for the Sega Dreamcast, and if you look at the back of the box here, it does indicate that it is fishing controller compatible. Little icon there, and a slightly larger picture of the controller up here. Now, my one does look ever so slightly different because it's not the official Sega one. It is the Fission fishing controller made by Interact. Now, it does work just as well as the Sega one, as far as I can tell, and it's got all this information on the back of the box telling you what it can do. And amongst that, it does have motion sensing. It's got an up and down sensor so that you can use it to cast the line or hook the fish. I'm not quite sure what the correct fishing terminology is there. It's also got a lateral motion sensor, so you can flick it from side to side. It's got this reel here, so you can wind the fish in, or in this case, if you turn it backwards, it just clicks noisily at you and doesn't actually let you reel the fish in. You do need to turn it in the correct direction. It's got an analog stick, it's got A, B, X and Y buttons, it's got the start button, and it also has a powerful vibration feedback feature. As you probably heard as I caught the fish in the previous clip, it does make quite a racket, and it's also got this little LED on the front that lights up just to make it really obvious that you have caught the fish. This box also boasts the fact that it's got an authentic fishing rod design. Again, my fishing expertise is not great, so I'm not sure how accurate that is, but it does have this little protrusion here that you can put your finger off, so that when you flick the rod violently, it's not going to fly out of your hand and smash your telly. The fishing rod controller is not just compatible with fishing games, it's also compatible with SoulCalibur. Now, this isn't mentioned on the back of the box, however, if you plug the controller in, you'll find that swiping it left or right is translated into the horizontal attack by your character. Similarly, moving it down or up performs a vertical attack. Now, I'm not sure why they decided to implement this, but it is an awful lot of fun to play this way. You can also use the reel to perform a soul charge. Now, that's just the training mode. Let's have a go at an actual battle in arcade mode. I'll stick with killing. Ah, we're fighting Shanghai again. Now, you can use the analog stick to move, as well as the A button to block. But I'm not going to bother, I'm just going to swipe, I'm going to flail, and see how I do. Well, won that round. Let's see if I do the next one. Well, this is on the easiest setting, or rather this is on the default setting and it's the first round, so it's not putting up much of a challenge. This rod will be your doom. Now, I'm quite interested to see how this unit actually works, so I have removed the screws from the bottom so we can pop it apart, take a look at the inside and see what's going on in there. Now, on this side we've got the electronic printed circuit board, which is connected to the switches, and it's got various wire connectors that go to the sensors, and we've got a rumble motor in here. There's also a smaller vibration motor in the handle here. And then in here, as well as that motor, we've also got two motion sensors. They're mounted at right angles. This one at the end here is arranged so that it detects lateral movement, so side to side, and this one here detects the motion up and down. In addition to those two motion sensors, we've got this analog joystick, which is mounted on two potentiometers, one for horizontal and one for the vertical axis. And then we've also got this small slotted wheel that rotates as you turn the reel, but only in one direction. If I turn it the other way, you can see there's a mechanism that prevents it from turning backwards. It only turns forwards. And that slotted wheel fits into this gap in this optical sensor. So as you're turning it, the beam of light is either blocked or is allowed to shine through the slots in the disc, and that is what is used to detect that you're reeling the fish in. Now these motion sensors are very simple, they're mechanical, and they're quite interesting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unscrew this one here. It's just held in by a screw and a washer. So if I remove that, then I can remove the sensor. And I'm going to unplug it from the board. Bear with me 1 second. Okay, that is now out, and we can take a closer look at it. The motion sensors have got 3 contacts. The central common contact has got a spring attached to it, and on the end of that spring is a small weight. And the spring allows the weight to move up or down and strike either of the other 2 contacts. And this is used to detect the motion. Now, as you move the sensor down or up, the weight, which has a certain degree of inertia, resists that sudden change of movement. So what it does is it, in effect, if you were to move this sensor down, is it would sort of stay where it was, and it would briefly strike that top plate as you moved the sensor down. Similarly, if you were to move the sensor up, it would strike the lower contact. And as you did that, it completes the circuit, which is then fed back to the main control board via this cable, and it is able to detect whether you are moving the controller up or down. SoulCalibur is not the only unusual game to support the fishing rod controller. It also works in Virtua Tennis. Now, to play this game, you move around the court with the analog stick, and then you hit the ball by swiping the fishing rod, or tennis racket, or tennis rod, fishing racket, I don't know what to call it. I am going to play as Tommy Haas from Germany, because he's got a strong forehand. I'm going to be playing against Tim Henman, apparently. Let's see if I can get any points. I sound terrible at this game at the best of times, but give it a go. Oh, that is the movement to make when you get one in. Ooh.